Here's your news for January 10th, 2020. We are starting off with some news from Triple H today, as the WWE COO has commented about a possible return for AJ Lee. After her husband CM Punk left the company in January 2014, AJ stepped away from the ring in March the next year, and rumors of a return to the squared circle have been few and far between. Just last month, Lee took to Twitter to shoot down the idea of appearing on WWE backstage with her husband, and while the former Divas champion doesn't seem fussed about making an appearance on the Fox show, it seems WWE are still hoping for an in-ring comeback. Speaking on a conference call to promote this Sunday's NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool via TalkSport, The Game was asked about his wife commenting on AJ's return and said, "I think what Steph was saying is that in the right circumstances, if it's good for fans and it's something that would be good for everybody, then absolutely. They were both phenomenal performers, incredible performers. If it was right for them, for the company, for everyone involved, then absolutely." He added, "In a perfect world, sure. I think you've heard Vince McMahon echo that statement about 1,000,000 times over the years, never say never. You see people come in and out, performers and talent. If it's right for fans and everyone else, business-wise, then it's something that can happen, but if it's not, then it can't. If it was right for them, for the company, for everyone involved, then absolutely. I don't think that's ever been a factor of somebody saying, this person should be here or that person should be here. Incredible talent are always incredible talent, but there's so much more to the business than just being a talented performer. I can fantasy book and say I'd like to be young again, but that ain't happening too. In a perfect world? Yeah, sure. Again, you've heard Vince echo that sentiment so many times over the years, never say never." It seems like The Game is keeping his cards close to his chest, as he's neither confirming nor denying that the company is wanting to strike a deal. For the record, AJ has said that she is, quote, very retired from pro wrestling, which is very different to her husband, who hasn't ruled out an in-ring return and is currently working for Fox Sports on WWE Backstage. A few months ago, nobody could have expected Punk to return to WWE, and if the man who once vowed to never appear on WWE TV can return, it seems anything is possible for AJ Lee. One superstar fans can expect to see regularly is Adam Cole, who cleaned up during the NXT Year-End Awards but hasn't stopped racking up accolades just yet. Recently, the reigning NXT champion claimed the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Wrestler of the Year award, a very prestigious honor that Cole was happy to show off. The cover star for the latest issue of PWI magazine, it's no secret that Cole received many accolades for his work last year, and is off to a great start in 2020 as NXT champion. Though we can't say when Cole's reign with the gold will end, there doesn't seem to be an end in sight for the Undisputed Era leader, who has fought off all comers since winning the title in June last year. We've got some very interesting news for you now, as Sergeant Slaughter may be a former WWE champion and worthy of respect for his accomplishments in wrestling, but is he an actual military veteran? If you ask Slaughter, the answer is yes, as the Hall of Famer has claimed a military past since the beginning of his career, claiming that he was a drill instructor in the US Marines. Even to this day, Slaughter will call himself a veteran, but that may be a lie, based on information uncovered by SoCal Uncensored on an F4W online forum. Slaughter has never gone into great detail about his time in the Marines or where he was serviced, and there may be a very good reason for that, as an article from the Baltimore Sun has been uncovered where the Marines asked Slaughter to stop impersonating them. The article, from March 24, 1985, seemingly exposes Sarge as a fraud, and over the years, there have been many stories from the former WWE champion that don't add up. In one telling of his past, Slaughter said he served 6 years, ending his service in 1973, despite the fact that he had already become an established name in the AWA by 1972. While it's nothing new for pro wrestlers to have a kayfabe background, Slaughter has always maintained that he did actually serve, and if he hasn't, this could be seen as highly disrespectful to the real Marines who fought for their country. The SoCal Uncensored Twitter gave plenty of examples of Sarge being treated like a real veteran, including a WWE article which said he served, as well as an interview with Slaughter where he speaks about his military past, which may have never happened. Stolen valor is a very serious issue in the United States, as people have often passed themselves as veterans to gain the respect of others, and if Slaughter is found to have lied about serving, this could prove to be disastrous for both him and the WWE. Back to the present now, and tonight's edition of SmackDown on Fox has received its first segment. Following the shock return of John Morrison on last week's show, the former ECW World Champion will appear live in the ring tonight as the special guest on Miz TV. Last week, Miz took out his frustrations on Kofi Kingston in the ring, and when Kathy Kelly looked to get answers from the A-lister, was denied an interview by Morrison. On a post on Instagram, Miz broke the news of his guest tonight, ending the post with the hashtag #BeJealous, the phrase the pair had years ago, as part of their own talk show, The Dirt Sheet. Also on tonight's show, Lacey Evans is looking to continue her war with Sasha Banks and decided to make a statement in a very unique way. In a video uploaded to her Twitter account, Evans said how she has a woman's right with Banks' name on it and handed her daughter a chicken so that she could continue her promo. Riding off on a four-wheeler in the closing seconds of the video, Evans ends the promo saying a woman's right will shut the boss up for good, and the former US Marine is clearly showing who she is. As a mother and camper, Evans hasn't got anything to hide, and a victory over the boss tonight could see her get a shot at Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship. Tonight's show will also see the return of the Usos after a considerable time away, and the brothers will take on exactly who you think they will. 1 week after Jimmy and Jay returned to save their cousin Roman Reigns from another dog food dumping by King Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, the Usos will face the King in the show-off tonight on SmackDown. It's never really been explained why Ziggler and Corbin are a team now, as Ziggler's former partner Robert Roode is currently serving a wellness policy suspension, but what we do know is that the pair have been prominently booked since coming to SmackDown. Tonight's show will mark the first match for the Usos on TV since their July 29, 2019 appearance on Raw, where they faced both the Revival and the OC. Now that they're running alongside Reigns, fans can expect to see plenty of the Usos, as it may be a matter of time before they're on the hunt for the gold. We're going digital next, as WWE has launched a new series called If It's on the Internet, where wrestlers can either confirm or debunk rumors that have circulated online. For this first edition, it was Carmella who sat in the hot seat, and the Princess of Staten Island denied allegations that she'd dated John Cena. In fact, Carmella said that she barely knows Cena, but because they both reside in Tampa, many fans assumed they were dating. Relationships were a major theme of the show, as Carmella was also asked whether she was a factor in Corey Graves' divorce, though she responded by saying that when they were dating, he was already in the process of divorcing from his now ex-wife. Carmella did confirm, however, that she had had plastic surgery, saying that she had breast implants, but denied accusations from fans that she had work done on her face. The interview also saw the former SmackDown Women's Champion speak about her time as a Laker girl, idolizing Miss Elizabeth, her real-life rivalry with Mandy Rose, and more. This interview is definitely worth checking out to hear a more personal side to the former 24/7 champion. We're looking ahead to the end of January now, as WWE will host their Worlds Collide special during Royal Rumble weekend. This week, 2 more matches have been added to the show, which will see NXT battle NXT UK, as Toni Storm will challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship. This match came about after Storm interrupted the new Women's Champion on this week's NXT and laid out the challenge for Worlds Collide. Interestingly, Ripley vs. Storm could be a match for both the NXT and NXT UK women's titles, as Storm, alongside Piper Niven, will challenge Kaylee Ray for the NXT UK Women's Championship at this Sunday's NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II, though so far, only Ripley's title has been announced as being on the line. Finn Balor vs. Ilya Dragunov has also been announced for Worlds Collide, and these matches will also join the Undisputed Era taking on Imperium in a huge 8-man tag. WWE Worlds Collide will take place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas on Saturday, January 25th, and will air live on the WWE Network 1 day before the Royal Rumble. Speaking of the Black and Gold brand, the numbers are in for the first live head-to-head matchup between AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT, And this week, Dynamite got the win. With 947,000 fans tuning in, this number was down from last week's 967,000. But the AEW show was able to fend off NXT, who rose to 721,000 after last week's 548,000, though this low figure was expected for the January 1st show as it was pre-taped. As for AEW, last week's 967,000 is particularly impressive as they went up against some heavy sports competition, and Tony Khan and his group should be pleased they've managed to keep most of the audience from last week. This week's AEW Dynamite was headlined by Jon Moxley's making his decision regarding joining Chris Jericho's Inner Circle, while NXT closed out on Keith Lee winning a fatal 4-way match to become the next #1 contender for Roderick Strong's NXT North American Championship. Now, when Kurt Angle returned to the WWE in 2017, he was immediately placed into the WWE Hall of Fame, and rightly so. On the night after WrestleMania 33, Angle was selected as the general manager of Raw, and though this kept the Olympian on TV, it wasn't what Kurt had in mind. While speaking to Chris Van Vliet recently, Angle opened up about what he hoped his return would be like, and though he tried to keep in shape and keep the ring rust off, his ideas were quickly changed due to Vince McMahon and Triple H. Though Angle said he thought he would receive a return run like Goldberg or Sting, McMahon saw the Olympic gold medalist as too much of a liability in the ring. Though Angle was seen as a liability, Kurt made it clear that Vince had his best interests at heart, as anyone who saw Kurt's few matches after his 2017 return could see that he wasn't competing at the same level as before he left. Angle also revealed that his original retirement plans was to hold off another year and face John Cena at WrestleMania this year, closing his career for good, as Angle knew he wasn't competing at the level he believes he's capable of. Obviously, this match didn't happen, as Angle would instead lose to King Corbin at WrestleMania, though Kurt is still with WWE, now working as a backstage producer to help superstars put matches together backstage. Although Angle will always be remembered as one of the greatest ever, it would have been interesting to see what could have happened, and if Cena would have been available for more than just a Doctor of Thuganomics bit at last year's WrestleMania, then things may have been very different for the conclusion of Kurt Angle's career. We've got some very strange news now, as though most fans won't know the name Carmel Macklin, the former WCW star, is in hot water. The New York Post is reporting that Macklin, who worked for WCW as Nitro Girl Chameleon, is among the defendants against teacher Brenda Marie Alexander, a teacher who claims she was targeted by the Department of Education. Alexander is alleging that Macklin took Alexander's master's degree and repurposed it as her own, and that the former Nitro Girl, who now works as an assistant principal, refused to discuss the matter. Another claim is that Macklin was behind an effort to make Alexander work with unimaginable class sizes, and in one incident, the former Nitro Girl attempted to get Alexander reprimanded for corporal punishment after the teacher had to physically restrain a violent student, and even after the corporal punishment allegations were dismissed and Alexander moved along to another high school, Macklin's harassment continued. These are all very serious allegations against the former Nitro Girl, who left wrestling when WCW closed down. And if found guilty, Chameleon could face some serious punishments of her own. And finally today we're ending with some sad news, as legendary wrestler Pampero Firpo has died at the age of 89. A competitor for over 3 decades, Firpo passed away just before his 90th birthday, and older fans will remember him headlining Madison Square Garden in the 1960s against Pedro Morales, and he was also a staple of the California wrestling scene. On Twitter, Firpo's daughter Mary broke the tragic news, saying, "My beloved father, Pampero Firpo, Juan Cockmanian, passed away today just a few months shy of his 90th birthday. As a professional wrestler for over 30 years, he thrilled fans around the world, wrestling in 21 different countries across 5 continents. At home, he was loving, generous, and protective. He was faithful to God, devoted to his family, and made friends wherever he went. In the end, he expressed gratitude and peace for his extraordinary life well lived. Thank you to his fans, friends, and colleagues who have shared your memories, friendship, love, prayers, and support with my dad and our family. It means the world to us. God bless you." Though he may no longer be with us, Firpo's legend will always live on, as few fans will know that Randy Savage imitated Firpo's interview style and "oh yeah" catchphrase, and we at Slatrock would like to send our best wishes to his family at this time.